The leaves are falling down, oh can't you see? Golden shades of red, it's like a dream to me. Swear the weather's here, the air is crisp and cool. Walking through the park, feeling autumn's rule. Pumpkin spice in the air, cozy nights to share. Cider in my cup, I'm breathing in the flare. Oh, autumn days, your painted skies of gold. With every breeze, a story's being told. Colors in the wind, dance around the trees. Autumn's here to set our spirits free.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is Wednesday, September 17th, and I want to talk about this challenge that I'm getting ready to do. We are calling it the Bitter End Q4 Challenge, and it's going to run from October through December, and it's basically like something that we can take control over when publishing is so freaking slow. For those of you who don't know, Brie and I are both querying right now. She's querying this like incredible dark fantasy. I'm querying my adult horror, Murder Night at Hotel Adair. And while I've found success in the query trenches so far, and by success I mean like requests, which I could go off on an entire tirade right now because requests mean nothing unless an offer comes next, right? So it's like you could have a request rate of 17%. But unless those agents offer, like, what's the point, you know? So anyway, Brie and I have decided that we are struggling a bit with querying and traditional publishing and just wanting to take that next step in our career and feeling like we're ready, but then not being, whether it's marketable enough, good enough, whatever. So we are taking this Bitter End challenge and doing a bunch of writing, but also writing adjacent things to keep us moving, keep us leveling up, and honestly just keep our mind out of Data Explorer, off of Query Tracker completely if possible, and honestly just make some content for you guys because we both agree that we love YouTube and it's super fun to just kind of share with everybody and keep up with everybody this way. So we're just really excited to start this. So again, if you want to join us and make your own video or just post on social media, I'm going to drop a template below in the description box. You can open that up, make a copy for yourself, and then fill it out. It took me a long time to figure out how to do this right. So this challenge is basically to like help us keep going through the rest of the year. Writing can lead to a lot of burnout. The rejections are almost nonstop sometimes, and you have to figure out how to keep going. And so we decided to come up with a challenge for ourselves. We're calling it the Bitter End Challenge, end of the year, and kind of like hoping to be the end of our querying journey. But that being said, this isn't just about querying. It's about writing and being an author and like finding these routines to keep us moving. It's about finding these coping mechanisms to keep us going when the rejections suck, and when we're not getting picked up. So this is our spite list, right? Everything that we need to do in spite of not getting an agent or not getting requests, or when a really, really tough full manuscript rejection comes through, because those are definitely the hardest, especially when they're form. Actually, I don't know. It's form or like, hey, this was so close and there's just something about it and I don't know, but I love it and I want to see it on shelf. I hate those. It's like, I know you want to see it on a shelf. Do you want to help me out there? This is our spite list. Everything that we need to be doing to spite traditional publishing. So we made 8 categories for ourselves and 2 things in each. The goal is to complete all of them. However, if we complete one of them, or if we just like don't have the capacity to do all of them, then at least one in each category is preferable. So for me, this is mine. I have little bullet points that are skulls. I love it so much. My first category is going to be my new project. And my new project is all about like this cult of widows who's kind of running everything in this small town. There's going to be a triple triad of rituals, and it's going to be like blood and bone and harvest and cannibalism and just like a lot of like bless your heart, clutching pearls meets cannibalism. That's like the vibe I'm going for right now. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I need to do some character work. I typically use Story Genius for that because I don't have my main character fleshed out, which is something that I typically have pretty early on. So this book is just different. Every book I've written so far has been, it's needed a different approach. So what came this morning, and I'm so excited, is Save the Cat Writes Horror. And it is the screenwriting one. So I'm really hoping that it's, still really great. I'm diving into this today. I ordered it overnight, and it got here super fast, and I'm just like, I'm so excited. I love Save the Cat. I don't follow it completely to a T, but in terms of like helping me brainstorm, because I don't plot, because I don't plan, at least in the back of my brain, I'm thinking about what needs to happen to show growth and agency and like arcs, pacing, and just like what is the story. So keeping that at the back of my head is really great. And because I'm always looking for new horror craft books, like this one just came out. Brie, thank you for telling me about it. Once I'm in a good place, I'm gonna start drafting Act 1. I think I'm sitting at like 240 words right now. Like I cannot get past this opening scene, which is super cliche right now. But like that's where the story is. Like I've just got to tell myself the story. And that's always the hardest part for me, is just getting past the it doesn't have to be pretty right now part. So if I can just get it down, like I know that I do edit as I go. Like I've got to edit as I go to get the vibes right, to get the flow right, to make sure like my brain understands what's happening. So once I can like get into a flow, it'll be fine. And I think I can do it in 3 months pretty easy. Like Act 1 is nothing. But it's really those first 2 chapters. Once those first 2 chapters are done, like I can fly. But I'm just not quite ready yet. Like my brain isn't ready. My creativity levels aren't back to where they were yet. It's been, let's see, I queried in, it's probably been like 2 months. It's been almost 2 months since I've written something, but I need to do that character work. I need to figure out where, like, the point of the story before I can actually write it. Like, so the point of Murder Night was this OCD and like losing your best friend, because that is so relatable. It's like you feel like you're outgrowing people, or you feel like you're left behind, or like everyone can relate to that. So I've got to figure out like what is my personal hook with these characters, because right now like cannibalism is super fun and I love it and I'm so excited to write it, but like why do we care? Like, like what makes this wrong turn versus like Midsummer? Although I thought they were going to have more cannibalism in Midsummer, and they didn't. So maybe I need another... Anyway, we'll get to the movies. So that is category 1. So category 2 is querying. And unfortunately, I can't just ignore querying right now. Usually fall is pretty big for like subbing, and winter and early spring is good for querying. But I started querying my second book in the fall, and it did pretty well, and it got another life in the winter and the spring. So I felt like I was ready to query Murder Night, so I started querying. And really I feel like there is no wrong time to do this. So I'm going to be doing 2 things. First, I'm going to do this like super weird querying ritual on Halloween. Now, I'm not a witchy girl. Like, I don't do crystals. I don't really understand manifestation stuff, but I'm going to do my research. And if you guys have anything, let me know. I'm going to be like Lindsay Puckett, if you're watching this. Give me all the things, because I want to do something super fun and campy and just cool for when I query on Halloween. So the next thing I want to do is I want to take my most brutal rejection letters And I want to do rejection poetry. I want to create them on video and then share them. I think that'd be super fun. So you can kind of see like where my YouTube stuff is coming in here. Like, I think that turning those rejections into something funny and just something that's not so painful is going to be really, really good to reframe. It's okay. You're going to fail and it's going to suck. And you've just got to keep going. And honestly, they're just fun to post on social media. Some people know exactly whose form is whose, which I think is incredible. And so I think it'll just be fun to post. And I want to take the really long one I got a couple weekends ago and turn that into rejection poetry because I think it's going to be a good challenge. Y'all, the hair is like forming to my skull. Dry. What if I just did the whole video like this? Okay, I won't though. I want to, but I won't. The next thing that I'm going to try to do for this quarter is figure out short stories. I have never written a short story outside of college, and I think it's time to start. Bree is really great about writing short stories and submitting them, so I'm going to be leaning pretty heavily on her. And so the goal is to find a prompt, write and edit a short story, and submit it to at least one magazine or anthology. So yeah, if you guys have any places that you like to submit, please let me know. I know that like Bree has a ton of resources that I'm going to be using, but every little bit counts. I love to learn about this. I love the industry. So yeah, just let me know what we've got. Reading. I am so behind on reading, especially reading for pleasure. I know that I've mentioned this before, but I am reading for a literary agency right now. So a lot of my reading is literally queries, and if I request any fulls, I'll read those. Right now I've got 3 fulls that I have to read. And by the way, like when I do my rejections, the notes that I put in there, they almost sound like forms, you guys. It's so heartbreaking. I always try to do like a little bit of detail, but sometimes it's just like, you know, it's just not for me. Like, it's just not something that I'm interested in. It's not a fit, it's not a fit for my list right now. So that's really sad, but I do have 3 fulls that I'm really excited about. I'll be reading those. And then obviously I'm going to be reading this craft book, but I've also got Rachel Harrison's Play Nice. I'm so excited about this. And then there's one more book called We Used to Live Here, and one of my old CPs messaged me and was like, hey, somebody said that this jump scared them. I think that you should read it. So I ordered it. I thought I already had it, but it turns out that I've got a different book that's We Live Here now. So like, obviously publishing has their trends, right? I'm gonna skip to horror movies because I feel like media can kind of all go together. But I really want to see The Long Walk. That is my goal. I'm a huge Stephen King movie person. Now I will say, like, I have his books. I've read quite a few, but his narrative voice isn't always for me. Like, for example, The Stand is like probably top 3 favorite books of all time. I read The Stand in like a week. I read it the week that the world closed down for the pandemic. It was so incredible. I loved all of the points of views. They all had such a different perspective on things, and I really want to write like that someday. But I also tried to read it, and it was just really slow, and the narrative voice was just very different and not for me. I love the movies, the new movies. I think his ideas are just incredible. The Long Walk, the trailer for the movie looks incredible. I can't wait to see it. I hope that it teaches me about storytelling and how to use a little bit of gore, but also the characterizations of everybody. I think Stephen King does that really well, and I'd like to push myself a little bit more there. I also want to watch a whole bunch of A24 movies that I haven't seen. I would say that I watch a lot of movies, but I don't watch a lot of horror movies because my husband doesn't like them. So it's really just me. I have to find a time to watch by myself, because our last date night, we went to sushi, we found this amazing Japanese dessert place, and we came back and I was like, okay, I'm picking the movie, we're gonna watch a horror movie, and I chose Midsummer, and he hated it. So I think I'm on my own now. The only thing I can really get him to watch with me that's scary is American Horror Story, and we will be watching that. We haven't started yet. I do rewatch that every year. Season 1 is my favorite, but I love it all. I think it's incredible. If you guys are keeping track of how many times I've said incredible, let me know at this point, because wow, that's the word of the day apparently. Incredible. So the A24 movie that I've picked is The Witch. It's very apparently Blair Witch style. I'm very excited to watch it. I just kind of want to watch it for like the creeping dread factor of it all. And to like, I've gotten agent feedback that I've done it really well. I've gotten some positivity feedback that I've done it really well. But I want to make sure that whatever they're using in movies, if I can recreate it in a novel, like I'm going to try to do that, whether it's pacing or how you narrow in. Like, when a movie zooms in on something and you're like, okay, like everything else is kind of blinders and you're like, wait a minute, what's happening? I kind of want a book to do that too. Like, I want to see if I can figure out how to do that. So those are my 2 movies that I picked. And then for social media, I'm really going to be focusing on YouTube. I have really started to love YouTube. It's hard because moving in my new place, I don't have a separate office space. So I can't record early in the morning because my bedroom is like right there. And there is no way that I could talk and not wake up my husband. He works from home 3 days a week. So it's really got to be like a Monday or a Wednesday when I film, just to give him some privacy and to make sure like there's not a lot of excess noise for you guys, and that's just how it's gonna have to be. So I will be filming 13 videos. I've got a couple planned already. I'm really excited about them. I will be keeping up with my querying, like the querying updates. I'll be doing those like once a month until they get boring. And to be honest, I think I'm already bored of it because I've got requests, but again, like nothing crazy is happening. They request, they reject, whatever. Like, it's just kind of the circle of life right now. I've got a couple of those lined up. I'm going to be doing some spiteless check-ins. For example, like I want to do a Write With Me short story edition where I struggle through my first short story. Obviously I want to film my ritualization of querying on Halloween. So it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. I also want to do accountability threads on Twitter and Blue Sky for my new project, which I have affectionately named Virginia is for Harvests. We'll see if that sticks or not, but for right now I like it. And I want to do an accountability thread, so it's like, maybe I won't post a word count, maybe I will, maybe it'll just be a graphic, maybe it'll be like, oh hey, I finally figured out this thing. But just something to again, have something to post and to keep engagement up, because I think a lot of other people do this. I tend to withdraw a lot when I have a lot going on, when I'm stressed out. And I think the beauty of YouTube is that I get to rant and rave a little bit, and I get to show like the upsides, but also kind of like the shit sides. This is hard. This is really hard. And I'm seeing offers made every day. I'm seeing people sell their books and they've been querying less time than me. And it's really hard not to compare, because in the end, there are a finite number of agents. There are a finite number of places that will sell your book, editors that will like your book. Like, there is not room for everyone. So if I want to find my spot, I've got to keep leveling up. And that means I have to engage. I have to put myself out there. I've got to maybe post a couple of those icky posts bragging about myself, because I'm working really hard. And Alyssa in the book says this all the time, but I don't mind being seen trying, because that means I'm passionate and that means I'm doing something. And I don't know. I think that's a really, really great way to look at it. So for learning, other than reading this craft book, which again, I'm so excited about, I want to take a workshop class. I'd love to do either one of CC Lyra's classes or find a horror specific class. I might even try to do a Donald Mass class and see how that goes. I would also like to participate in a webinar or a Q&A. So I think the difference between these two is like, one is more of like a me doing the work, And then the other one is putting myself out there, asking questions, getting, it's probably honestly going to be a Tobias Q&A. I love their Q&As. They're a little bit sassy. They're so funny. And I really do think that they care, and they sell great horror. So I definitely want to go there. I want to ask some maybe not 101 questions. So we'll see. Like, I'm just going to have to figure out what I can do, what is going to actually benefit my learning, and then apply myself. Now for this class or workshop, that's going to actually have to be probably something paid. I'm going to put a little money that we get from selling our house towards this, because I do think that I deserve that. The first thing I ever paid for were these agent consultations I had this summer, and that turned into an incredible opportunity. So I really feel like I need to keep putting myself out there, and if I want to make it, really try to invest. And I want to talk a little bit about the flip side of that, because I realize how privileged I am. I am able to live a comfortable life. We have made decisions to move in and become caretakers for my grandma. That does help us financially because we won't be paying a mortgage. This house is paid off. I mean, not having a mortgage is huge. And I just want to recognize that privilege, and that I hate the pay-to-play nature of publishing. But unfortunately, like, it's just one more way to get myself in front of agents and editors and see if what I'm doing can ever make it. And I want to give myself that opportunity. So last but not least is not really a challenge, because these things are already booked and it's just like a nice easy checklist for me. My kids are in 2nd grade and we are going to this outside history museum, and I'm just really excited. It's supposed to be very haunted, so if I can find someone who looks like I won't be bothering them, I'm gonna ask them about that. I'm really excited just to hear the stories and to see like what they found scary. I'm just excited to hear their stories and to kind of see what I can incorporate in my own. And then finally, I have a writing retreat that I'm going to with my CPs. It's in Colorado. I'll be gone from Wednesday to Sunday, and it's just going to be absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to hang out with these girls. We usually go to Y'all Fest every November, but we're not writing YA anymore. So we are going to go to the mountains of Colorado, hang out in this beautiful condo, look at the beautiful views, maybe hike, go to some bookstores, and just like work on our writing. And I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's literally one of my favorite things I do all year. So that's my spite list. These are the things I'm going to be doing, because fuck traditional publishing. Why don't I have an agent and a book deal and millions of fans by now? If you're kind of feeling low and you want to make sure like you are pushing back and you're going to show those people who doubted you and form rejected you, like if you want to show them that you are really doing what it takes, join us. Make your own spite list. Again, the template is below, and I really hope I see your video or your posts. So that's it for me. I hope this is a relatively short video, but if not, I hope you understand that sometimes to get your shit together, you've got to use a little bit of spite to power you through. So thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time.
Oh,
Bye.
can't you see? Golden shades of red, it's like a dream to me. Swear to others here, the air is crisp and cool.